At the end of the year, or at the beginning of a new year, it's typical to take stock of your life and to come up with all sorts of New Year's resolutions for a more fulfilled life. This, by the way, is what I woke up to on December 24th. Some of us set up extravagant goals and feel good about ourselves in the moment. But come March, or maybe even sooner, we feel equally deflated for having abandoned the goals. Maybe because they were too unrealistic, or didn't align with our values. Others, like my partner, have few or no major goals. That way they're sure not to get too disappointed. But from my perspective at least, they're also fairly sure that nothing major will happen in their lives of their own making. I've gradually come to realize that I need to strike a balance. I suspect many of us do. We don't necessarily need a new year for this. It's great if you're motivated this time of year, but it might as well be in March or June or whenever. Trying to practice gratitude and accepting what is has no sell-by date, nor does setting new intentions. When it comes to accepting what is, I'm inspired by the Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, but also by the German-American spiritual teacher Eckhart Tolle. It's about accepting, maybe even embracing, and making the most of a situation that we cannot change. Someone like myself, whose mind is prone to overthinking, can go over and over a situation, real or imagined, past or future, as if the rumination itself can make a difference. It cannot, at least it can't change it. But it can amplify the situation and the pain involved, which means it's an insane thing to do. Yet I often do it anyway. But I'm getting better. Sometimes. I know by now that the only way forward with a situation or a person or an event that I cannot change is to accept it, to make that internal shift. There is no way around it, and yet I think many of us have a hard time accepting things we wish were different. It's so much easier to accept the things we like. So I'm out here in the morning on the 24th of December, simply because I don't know how soon the snow's going to melt, so I'm trying to make the most of it and just feeling slightly childishly giddy. I'm sure I'm not the only Dane to feel that way. I don't remember the last time we had a white Christmas, so it's really unusual. So I just really threw on my clothes and rushed outside, having slept a little late. So this is why it's light out now. It's about 10 o'clock. Then a while back I encountered the concept of radical acceptance, which is about surrendering, not giving up, but giving over that which you cannot control, and trusting that things will work out somehow down the line. There are a couple of things in my life right now that I wish were different, difficult things. I cannot change the situations themselves, but I can change my perception of them, how I react to them, which turns out to make all the difference. This has made me better at accepting smaller things, for instance the cancellation of our plans for celebrating New Year's. Every other year for the past 20 years, we've celebrated with the same friends. We've even gone abroad with them for New Year's, to London, Madrid, and Vilnius in Lithuania. This year we're not only not going abroad, we're also not celebrating with them, thanks to that most uninvited of guests, COVID-19, which one of them has right now. You may say acceptance is a long way from gratitude, but maybe it's the next logical step. So I'm out in the snow, and I'm loving it. I thought I would take this opportunity to try to kick in the new year with a bit of gratitude cultivation. According to research, it's not enough to know that there are things that we're grateful for in our lives, but you have to actively practice it, which means that you could say it aloud with people, or you could write it down in a journal. Today I feel very grateful for a white Christmas, I feel grateful for the snow arriving and staying put for a little while. I don't know when it's going to leave, but it's just so nice to experience a real winter. Showing gratitude is what fosters joy in life, not the other way around. So we have to be quite active in our gratitude practice. Only 2 days previously, I was out walking with a friend when it began snowing. I couldn't believe it. I felt so happy. I hoped, but didn't think it would still be here for Christmas. So I began filming to document it was real. When I got home, it was still snowing, and in the evening, it was beginning to look a lot like Christmas. It was a small Christmas miracle, if you ask me, especially during a Christmas when so many people have had to change plans due to COVID. A nationwide white Christmas in Denmark, meaning that 90% of the country has to have had snow, has only occurred 9 times over the past 120 years. And then it occurred this Christmas. For me, both acceptance and gratitude have to be cultivated on a daily basis. I often forget. Of course I do. Which means my mood will plummet, I will revert to overthinking, etc. And then I know what I have to do. Let go, be in the moment, and focus on what I have instead of complaining either internally or to others about what I don't have. Instead of having unrealistic goals or New Year's resolutions, I'm trying to set some overall intentions that align with my values. Create small good habits. It's a balance between being gentle with ourselves and trying new things. The latter being, by the way, one of the best ways to beat old age, in inverted commas. New micro actions. One of my overall intentions is to eat healthier, and the habit I try to create, or recreate I should say, is to only eat sugar 2 days a week, apart from my very dark chocolate. That I don't count. Another is to practice more self-care, which can be anything from doing gratitude rituals to using a good face mask. If we keep these small habits for a number of weeks, the research differs concerning how many, the habits have a good chance of sticking, and we don't have to work so hard at keeping them anymore. We might even make new ones. So the snow is beginning to melt now. They say it's going to be around 9 degrees on New Year's Eve here in Denmark, which is a major shift in temperature, and we're going to be left with a brown landscape. But there it is. That's the ebb and flow of nature. You gotta accept that too. I wish you many blessings now and in the new year. I hope that you have a few things to be grateful for and that you are able to accept the rest. Thanks so much for being here.